What do we actually know about Noah? Most of us have the same mental picture, don't we? An old man with a beard, animals marching two by two, a wooden boat, Sunday school felt boards and children's books. We've sanitized the story so thoroughly that we've forgotten what it actually says. But what if I told you that tucked inside this ancient account, buried beneath the familiar details of floods and rainbows, is a pattern so precise, so deliberate, that once you see it, everything changes? Because Noah's story isn't just about survival, it's about someone else entirely. Let's start with what we think we know, the world before the flood. We imagine it as primitive, right? Stone tools, tribal societies, maybe some basic agriculture. After all, this is early Genesis. We're talking about the dawn of human civilization. Except that's not what the text describes. Genesis chapter 4 mentions cities, metalworking, musical instruments, advanced craftsmanship. This isn't a world of hunter-gatherers scratching out survival. The Hebrew word used for Tubal-Cain's work, choris, refers to skilled artisanship in bronze and iron. We're talking about metallurgy, about technology. And then, in a single generation, it's gone. The flood doesn't just reset the population, it resets everything. All that knowledge, all that culture, all those advancements wiped away. Except for 8 people, 1 family, 1 man chosen to carry humanity forward. You'd think that was just a tragic historical footnote, wouldn't you? But what if the point was never really about the flood itself? Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how specific the dimensions of the ark are? 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, 30 cubits high, 3 decks, 1 door, 1 window. The text obsesses over these details, and yet when you actually do the math, you realize this thing was massive. We're talking about a vessel roughly 450 feet long. That's 1.5 football fields. But here's what's strange. The ark isn't described as a ship. The Hebrew word is teva, which appears in only one other place in the entire Hebrew Bible. You know where? The basket that carried Moses down the Nile. Both times, the word means the same thing, a vessel of salvation, a container that preserves life through judgment. 1 door. Think about that. In the entire superstructure of this massive vessel, there's only 1 entrance, and God himself shuts it, not Noah, God. Now, let me read you something Jesus said, recorded in John chapter 10, verse 9. I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved. 1 door into the ark, 1 door into salvation. The parallel isn't subtle, but it gets deeper. Let's talk about the number 8. 8 people entered the ark: Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. Out of an entire corrupted world, 8 souls were saved through water. It seems random, doesn't it? Just the family that happened to be righteous. But in Hebrew thought, numbers carry meaning. 8 is the number of new beginnings. It's the number beyond completion, 7 being the number of perfection and wholeness. 8 is what comes after the cycle ends. Circumcision happened on the 8th day. The Feast of Tabernacles culminated on the 8th day. And in the New Testament, guess how many people the Apostle Peter says were saved through water in the ark? He specifies it, 1 Peter chapter 3, in which a few, that is, 8 persons, were brought safely through water. But then Peter does something remarkable. He immediately connects this to baptism, to being saved through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. 8 people through water in the Old Covenant, countless souls through water in the New, both saved not by the water itself, but by entering into the vessel God provided. You see the pattern now, don't you? After the floodwaters began to recede, Noah sent out 2 birds. First, a raven. It flew back and forth, never returning, feeding on the corpses floating in the aftermath. Then Noah sent out a dove. The first time, the dove found no rest and returned to the ark. The second time, it brought back an olive branch, a sign of life, of peace, of new beginnings. The third time, it didn't return at all. It had found a home. Now, why does the text bother with this detail? What's the narrative purpose of 2 different birds? Think about what these birds represent. The raven, a scavenger, feeding on death, never at rest, never committed. The dove, seeking life, seeking peace, a symbol of purity. And what happened at the baptism of Jesus? The Spirit descended like a dove. After Jesus came up out of the water, another image of passing through judgment, the Father declared, "This is my beloved Son." The dove didn't just appear, it marked the beginning of Jesus' public ministry, the beginning of the new creation. Noah's dove brought a branch from a living tree. Jesus would become the tree of life itself, offering rest to all who would come to him. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. After the flood, God made a covenant with Noah. He promised never again to destroy the earth with water, and he gave a sign, the rainbow. But let's think about what a rainbow actually is. It's refracted light, the full spectrum of color emerging from what appears to be pure white light, broken apart by water suspended in the atmosphere. You can't have a rainbow without both light and the very thing that brought judgment, water. And in Revelation chapter 4, when the Apostle John sees the throne of God, he describes a rainbow around the throne, not above it, around it, encircling the seat of divine authority, a perpetual reminder that God's judgment has limits, that his mercy is woven into the very fabric of his glory. And what does Jesus claim about himself? "I am the light of the world." The covenant with Noah was a promise, "I will restrain my judgment." The covenant in Christ is a fulfillment, "I will take the judgment on myself." The rainbow was a sign that God remembers. The cross is the proof that God acts. Here's the question we have to ask. What if someone was deliberately weaving these patterns into history? Not as coincidence, not as literary flourish, but as intentional foreshadowing. Because Noah's name in Hebrew, Noach, means rest or comfort, and his father Lamech said at his birth, "This one will comfort us in the labor and painful toil of our hands." He was meant to bring relief from the curse. And he did, temporarily. The flood cleansed the earth, but it didn't cleanse the human heart. Noah himself got drunk and ended up in a shameful situation shortly after leaving the ark. The problem wasn't just outside humanity, it was inside. That's why Jesus invites us with these words, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Noah brought rest from the flood. Jesus brings rest from sin itself. Noah saved 8. Jesus offers salvation to whosoever will. Noah built an ark of wood. Jesus was nailed to wood, becoming the doorway himself. The pattern was always pointing forward, from shadow to substance, from type to fulfillment, from the man who walked with God to the God who walked with man. So what do we do with this? Because if Noah's story really is a signpost, if every detail, every number, every symbol is pointing to something greater, then we have to ask ourselves, am I paying attention? The people in Noah's day didn't. They ate, they drank, they married, they built, right up until the door of the ark closed. Jesus himself said it would be the same in the days of his return. Life as usual, eyes on everything except the one door that leads to safety. But Noah heard the warning. He believed the word. He entered the ark. And when the judgment came, he was already inside. The door is still open, but one day, just like in Noah's time, God himself will shut it. The question is, have you entered? Hidden in plain sight. That's where the deepest truths often are. Not in complexity, but in connection. Not in what we add to the story, but in what's been there all along, waiting for us to notice. Noah and Jesus, the ark and the cross, 8 souls and countless redeemed, water and spirit, judgment and mercy. 2 stories, 1 author, 1 plan. And if you're listening, 1 invitation.